I'm so angry. And this happened to an innocent person. And they just about to leave my best friend away from me.
The 22-year-old went missing on November 4th and was discovered in the basement of this abandoned, burned-out home on Savannah Avenue 5 days later.
Now, to an emotional evening for a grieving family. On Tuesday, East Cleveland police found the body of a woman believed to be 22-year-old Alishah Pointer. Tonight, her family is calling for justice. Lydia Sparra has more.
They carried pink balloons, wore her picture on their T-shirts, all as they passed by the house where police say Alishah Pointer's body was found.
Them is reckless people, heartless people, and they don't need to be out here doing this to people like this.
It was at a vigil Friday night. Her family and twin sister spoke.
I'm so angry. And this happened to an innocent person. And they just about to leave my best friend away from me. Baby girl, I love you. God be with you. God got you in his arms.
Hi, it's Leah. It's Alishah. And we'll be doing a sister tag. And we're going to be asking each other questions. And she's going to be answering them. And she's going to ask me questions. And we're going to be answering them. Okay. So what's your favorite color? Pink. It depends on what type of pink it is though. But what's your favorite color? My favorite color is maybe a tropical marine blue. I'm kidding, guys. That sounds very illiterate, but it's really a blue. Okay.
How does it feel to be a twin? That's everybody's question. How does it feel to be a twin?
Well, it's normal.
We don't feel anything, you know.
I don't have twin powers. Don't ask in the comments. I can't feel anything. When she gets hit, I don't feel it. Like, it's
November 5th, 2021 was supposed to be a day of celebration. Alishah Pointer and her twin sister Aaliyah were turning 22, and with Aaliyah 8 months pregnant, there was even more to be excited about. But when Alishah walked out of her house the day before, she never made it back alive. She was forced into a vehicle and driven to a house where 6 people were waiting, all of them convinced she had information about a case she knew absolutely nothing about. By the time police found her 4 days later, they were dealing with one of the most disturbing cases in recent memory. This is Crime on Pulse. Before we get into it, leave a like, drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Crime on Pulse so you won't miss the next case. Born on November 5, 1999, Alishah Pointer, who went by Tammy to many in her circle, was raised in Cleveland, Ohio alongside her twin sister Aaliyah, her older sister Alishah, a younger sibling, and their mother Erica. Friends and family members described her as a young woman with a generous spirit. Alishah had a reputation for being present when people needed someone to talk to, and for seeing potential in everyone she encountered, regardless of their past or circumstances. Her professional life centered around caregiving. She divided her time between nursing facilities where she assisted elderly residents, and childcare centers where she looked after young children. Alishah had signed up for an IT certification course and harbored dreams of launching an online clothing boutique. Her journal pages were filled with ambitions and milestones she hoped to reach. In November, her twin sister was 8 months along in her pregnancy. Alishah couldn't contain her excitement about becoming an aunt. She maintained constant communication with Aaliyah, checking in regularly and made sure her sister had everything she needed as the due date approached. Their text exchanges were frequent, maintaining the close connection twins often share.
It's your favorite twin. It's your favorite twin. Oh, look.
Alishah was in a relationship at the time. On November 2, 2021, a 19-year-old man named Amin J. Shomo was shot in Cleveland's Slavic Village neighborhood and lost his life. Amin J. was expecting his first child with his girlfriend, Brittany Smith. This incident triggered a series of events that ultimately claimed the life of an innocent person who had zero involvement in his passing. People close to Amin J. wanted explanations about what happened. As Cleveland police launched their investigation into Amin J.'s case, they began questioning various individuals, including Alishah's boyfriend. Law enforcement eventually ruled him out entirely, but the people searching for someone to hold responsible didn't care about that. When Brittany Smith and others connected to Amin J. couldn't track down Alishah's boyfriend, they made a calculated decision. If they couldn't reach him directly, they'd go after someone in his life. Their assumption was that Alishah could lead them to her boyfriend or provide details about Amin J.'s case. On November 4, 2021, 4 individuals got into a car and headed to East Cleveland, specifically the area around Glenmont Road and Superior Road. Those 4 were 30-year-old Portia Williams, 17-year-old Destiny Henderson, 22-year-old Nathaniel Polk Jr., and 18-year-old Hakimali Shomo. Destiny already had a criminal history and had been convicted of 2 prior felonies completely separate from this situation. When Destiny and Hakimali approached 2 women sitting in a driveway, they were armed and forced both women into different vehicles. One woman was let go relatively quickly. The second woman had a personal connection to Alishah, which is precisely why they held on to her. They needed someone who could get Alishah to come outside, someone whose presence wouldn't raise immediate alarm. Court records identified this second woman as Turquoise. Turquoise, who became a victim herself in this situation, was transported to Alishah's residence and coerced into helping lure Alishah outside. When Alishah stepped out, they grabbed her. The people who took her had decided they wouldn't release her until they got the information they were after. This moment started everything else that followed. They took Alishah to a residence belonging to Portia Williams, where she was held through the night. While she was there, 2 additional people arrived at the location. Brittany Smith, who was pregnant with Amin Jay's child, and Anthony Bryant, an 18-year-old high school senior, set to graduate in December. What makes Brittany's involvement particularly concerning is that Alishah had reportedly assisted her in the past. She'd offered Brittany support during difficult times, provided her with emotional comfort, and even helped with her business ventures. But none of that history mattered in that moment. Inside Portia's residence, Turquoise was initially kept in the same space as Alishah. What unfolded during those hours involved relentless questioning that escalated into violence. They kept asking Alishah for information about her boyfriend, about Amin Jay's case, and about matters she had absolutely no knowledge of. This continued for hours, with Alishah repeatedly insisting she didn't have the answers they wanted. At some point through the night, Nathaniel left the house. But Brittany, Anthony, Portia, Destiny, and Hakimali remained. None of them intervened to stop what was happening. Meanwhile, Alishah's family had no clue where she was. Her twin sister had received a text from her at 1:40 a.m. on November 5th about bringing food over. When Alishah didn't arrive and stopped responding to calls and messages, Aaliyah got worried. She started contacting family members, trying to find out if anyone had been in touch with Alishah. Aaliyah contacted their younger sister, who shared that Alishah had mentioned that her boyfriend abandoned her somewhere remote. That explanation didn't sit right with Aaliyah, so she contacted the boyfriend directly to question him about it. The boyfriend explained to Aaliyah that he hadn't been with Alishah, hadn't left her anywhere, and had no idea what was happening. While they were still on the phone, he got a FaceTime call from Alishah. When he picked up, he could see Alishah in tears, but someone else held the phone. A voice told him to turn himself in to the police and disconnected the call. He immediately told Aaliyah to contact authorities. Aaliyah and Erica went to file a missing person report, but felt their concerns weren't being taken seriously enough. November 5th, the twins' birthday, came and went without any contact from Alishah. On November 6th, the family received a picture showing Alishah in a vulnerable situation. The message demanded the boyfriend turn himself in within 60 minutes, or they'd hurt her. The family immediately went to the police, who finally began treating the situation with appropriate urgency and started interviewing people associated with Alishah and her boyfriend. On November 9, 2021, police received a tip regarding the vacant house on Savannah Avenue. When they responded and searched the building, they located Alishah in the basement. She had passed away and had been there for several days. The Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's findings confirmed what investigators had already suspected. Alishah Pointer had lost her life due to multiple injuries sustained during the time she was held against her will. With testimony from Turquoise along with additional evidence collected during the investigation, law enforcement had identified all the suspects. The FBI, U.S. Marshals, Cleveland Police, and East Cleveland Police worked together on the case. 6 individuals were taken into custody in connection with Alishah's case. Portia Williams, Destiny Henderson, and Nathaniel Polk Jr. were the first to be arrested. Brittany Smith was apprehended shortly afterward. Anthony Bryant was also brought into custody.
And developing tonight, 6 people have been indicted on aggravated murder charges in connection to the death of Alishah Pointer. Police say Pointer was tortured before she was killed and her body was left in the basement of an East Cleveland home.
Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner's Office says 22-year-old Alishah Pointer died from multiple gunshot wounds. The East Cleveland woman's body was found in a burned-out home in East Cleveland last week.
But one person evaded capture initially, Hakimali Shomo. A $5,000 reward was posted for information that would lead to Hakimali's arrest. He was eventually located in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and arrested around midnight, making him the last person taken into custody. All 6 defendants appeared before a judge on November 19, 2021. Each faced charges and a $2 million bond. During those initial court appearances, all defendants pleaded not guilty and waived their preliminary hearings.
Multiple suspects in her death appeared in court today, each charged with murder in the alleged torture and killing of Pointer. The judge issuing each a $2 million bond. Police believe the motive for killing Pointer was that she had information on a homicide in Cleveland.
Following the arrests, a grand jury handed down indictments against all 6 defendants on charges connected to Alishah's case, plus additional counts including unlawful restraint, felonious assault, and conspiracy.
All right, everyone. Again, Judge Dawson, I believe you've had adequate opportunity to speak with the defense attorney. That's one of your primary rights, your right to have an attorney. You also have a right to remain silent, which means technically when I call your name, I'm going to ask you to rise, to stand, and come to the center there. You don't have to make any statements at all. You have the right to remain silent, so you don't have to say anything at all. And if anything will be said, it should be spoken through your defense attorney. So the right to remain silent as well as the right to an attorney. And then you also have a right to a preliminary hearing. That's a hearing where the city has to put on some type of information adequate enough for me to understand what occurred in the city of East Cleveland, that it's a felony and that you're connected to it to the point where the case has to be sent down to the county. It's not that you're guilty at this stage, but it's just showing me that the case is one that's bigger than a misdemeanor. Because remember, this is a misdemeanor court, and any of the felonies have to be handled downtown. So you can have that hearing, or after having spoken with your attorney, you can decide that you want to waive that hearing. And keep in mind, if you waive the hearing, you're not admitting any guilt. Instead, you are agreeing that the case will be sent to the county. I will give you a bond, I will give you a court date, and then the case will begin at the county with you still not guilty at this time. All right, counsel, ready to proceed?
I am.
All right. First case is 21 CRA 00945, the city of East Cleveland versus Portia Williams.
Portria Williams? Portria.
Portria, thank you very much. So you can come to the center there. Matter of fact, yeah, just right where they left this. Thank you. Portria Williams. Right, Ms. Williams, the complaint is alleging that on or about the 5th through the 9th day of November 2021 in the city of East Cleveland, you did purposely cause the death of Alishah Pointer in violation of Ohio Revised Code 2903.02a. They're charging with 1 count of murder with the possibility of a sentence of 15 years to life in prison and up to a $25,000 fine. Ms. Williams, did you get a chance to speak with the defense attorney? Counsel, on behalf of Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Your Honor. Court. Judge Ms. Williams has been under a not guilty plea. She is prepared to waive the preliminary hearing. We would like to address bond.
All right, Ms. Williams, I will go ahead and accept the waiver. Keep in mind, again, that's a not guilty at this stage. The case will be sent to the county. The court date will be November 19th, 2021. The 12th floor of the Justice Center at 9:45. I will give you a reminder. That way, if you make your bond, you'll know where to go. And if you don't, everyone knows when you are supposed to be before the judge downtown, okay? For the city on the issue of bond.
We're asking for $2 million.
Counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. We would just respectfully request that the court consider a reasonable bond. It appears that Ms. Williams is a lifetime Cuyahoga County resident. She is approximately 30 years old and self-employed.
And just for Ms. Williams and all the other cases I'm going to call, just to keep in mind, for me, there are certain bonds that I set for specific offenses. It just so happens that in this particular case, when there's a murder charge, even though you're not guilty at this stage, the bond that I normally set is a $2 million bond, cash or surety, which means you would need a bail bondsman to assist you getting out. Okay. Now, also for everyone, once you get to the county, that judge may or may not reduce your bond, or they could even increase it, because that's going to be the judge who's going to have your case from the beginning to the end. My bond is basically from today until you make it to court. You understand that? But other than that, good luck. You can have a seat. Nathaniel Polk. Mr. Polk, 21 CRA 00944. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Polk, the complaint is alleging that on or about the 5th through the 9th day of November 2021 in the city of East Cleveland, you did purposefully cause the death of Alishah Pointer in violation of Ohio Revised Code 2903.02a. The charge is murder, a felony of the first degree where you're looking at the possibility of 15 years to life and up to a $25,000 fine. Did you get a chance to speak with the defense attorney?
I did.
Counsel, on behalf of Mr. Polk.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please support. Mr. Polk's prepared to enter a not guilty plea. He's also prepared to waive the preliminary hearing, and we would like to address that.
So again, Mr. Polk, we will go ahead and accept the waiver. You're still not guilty at this stage. The case will be sent to the county. I'm going to set the same court date, which will be November 19th, 2021, 12th floor of the Justice Center at 9:45, and you will have a piece of paper if you would like. I believe the detectives are requesting a $2 million bond, correct? In each of the cases. Counsel?
Judge, Mr. Polk is 22 years old, a beautiful high school graduate. He graduated in 2019. He is a lifetime Cuyahoga County resident with no virus.
All right, Mr. Polk, and again, that's good information to have on the record. And keep in mind, once the case gets down to the county, that judge may or may not reduce the bond. It could increase it. But from here to the county, the bonds that I set on this type of case will be a $2 million bond. All right? You can have a seat. Good luck. Anthony Bryant, 21 CRA 00953. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Bryant, the complaint is alleging that on or about the 5th through the 9th day of November 2021 in the city of East Cleveland, you did purposely cause the death of Alishah Pointer in violation of Ohio Revised Code 2903.02.a. A. That is a murder charge with the possible sentence of 15 years to life in prison and up to a $25,000 fine. You understand those charges, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had a chance to speak with the defense attorney?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, on behalf of Mr. Bryant.
Judge, Mr. Bryant's going to enter a not guilty plea. He too is going to waive the preliminary hearing. And we would like to tell you a little bit about him with regard to bond.
Absolutely, thank you. So Mr. Bryant, again, it's not guilty at this point. The case will be sent to the county. The court date will be November 19th, 2021, 12th floor of the Justice Center at 9:45, all right? And the bond request remains the same for the city, correct?
Correct.
All right, counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you. Judge, Mr. Bryant is 18 years old. He's currently a high school student at Randall Park, and he's set to graduate in December. I would just ask that the court consider that.
Mr. Bryant, you did hear what I mentioned in regard to the bonds. When I have a specific type of case, this one being a murder charge, the bond is a $2 million bond. But the information that counsel provided will be information that we'll use at the county when they determine whether or not to keep your bond at that level. But from now until the time you make it to the county, which is on the 19th, the bond will be $2 million, all right? Good luck, you can have a seat. Brittany Smith. Ms. Smith, 21 CRA 00951. The allegation is that on or about the 5th through the 9th day of November 2021 in the city of East Cleveland, you did purposely cause the death of Alishah Pointer in violation of Ohio Revised Code 2903.02a. It's a murder charge with the possible sentence of 15 years to life in prison and up to a $25,000 fine. You also spoke with the defense attorney?
Yes.
Counsel on behalf of Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Smith is going to enter a not guilty plea. She too is going to waive the preliminary hearing and would like to as well.
All right. So keep in mind, Ms. Smith, it is not guilty right now. The case will be sent to the county. Your court date will be on Friday, November 19th, 12th floor of the Justice Center at 9:45. All right. I believe the city is remaining with the same request of $2 million. Counsel, go ahead.
Judge, Ms. Smith is also a lifetime Cuyahoga County resident. She's also certified as a lifetime health coach. She has indicated to me that she is not a flight risk and she will be present at every hearing.
So, Ms. Smith, keep in mind the bonds that I said at this stage is based on the charges that I have in front of me, because the case is not my case. It'll be the case of the judge downtown. That judge can move the bond up or down based on all those facts. But it will remain at the $2 million until you make it to the county, all right? You have a seat. Counsel.
There's one defendant left that does not appear to be a co-defendant. His name is Jamil.
All right, Mr. Reed, on it. 21 CRA 00952 is a charge of having a weapon while under disability, carrying a concealed weapon, and improper transportation of a firearm. The having a weapon while under disability is a felony of the 3rd degree because they're alleging that on or about November 11th in the city of East Cleveland, you did possess 2 guns ready at hand, and they have the specific numbers here, as well as the ammunition that was found in it. The reason it's called weapon under disability because there's a previous felony conviction, and that felony conviction creates the inability or the disability for you to have a weapon. So it's charged as a felony of the 3rd degree, 9 to 36 months in prison, and a $10,000 fine. The next charge is carrying a concealed weapon, a felony of the 4th degree, 6 to 18 months, and a $5,000 fine. Again, on or about November 11th in the city of East Cleveland, you did knowingly carry or have ready at hand on your person a firearm as detailed specifically with serial numbers, make, and model. And then there's improper transportation of a firearm, felony of the 4th degree, 6 to 18 months and a $5,000 fine because they're saying that on or about November 11th, 2021 in the city of East Cleveland, you did have the firearm as described with serial number, make, and model in a vehicle that was ready at hand. You understand all those charges, correct?
Yes, sir.
Counsel, in regard to the preliminary hearing for Mr. Reed?
Judge, he's going to enter a not guilty plea. He's going to waive the preliminary hearing and would like to address bond.
All right. It looks like the city is requesting a $40,000 surety bond.
That's correct.
Counsel?
Judge, I would respectfully request that the court consider 3,010%. These are relatively low felonies. He is a lifelong Cuyahoga County resident as well.
Your Honor, just for the record, he does have an alert cycle arrest record. He has been convicted as a juvenile, and he has a aggravated robbery conviction as well.
Is there a APL or a parole? Parole department?
That's a firm. He has a hold.
So with a hold, you understand any bond that I set means technically you won't get out because there's a hold. So you don't even want to post your bond because they'll be coming to pick you up. You understand that? Did you know that? Did you have a hold on you?
No, I know.
Okay. That's where they're indicating that there's a parole board hold. But what I will do, based on the information I have and based on the level of felony, I'll reduce the bond to a $20,000 as opposed to $40,000. But again, you don't want to post that bond because there's a hold on you. So if you post it, you won't be released because they're going to come and get you. So what you want to do is clear up this situation that's going on with the parole board. Then look at the posting the bond. All right. Any questions?
Thank you.
You can have a seat. Court is adjourned. Thank you very much.
As the legal process continued, the community came together to honor Alishah's memory. On November 12th, family and friends gathered for a vigil on Savannah Avenue, at the location where she'd been discovered.
Friends and family of a 22-year-old woman kidnapped, tortured, and then murdered, gathering this evening to remember Alishah Pointer in East Cleveland.
It comes as police make even more arrests in this case. News 5 investigator Scott Knoll has the very latest tonight, live from East Cleveland. Scott?
Yeah, guys, a very somber mood out here. If you take a look behind me, you can see literally dozens of people gathered here tonight to remember Alishah Pointer. Her body was found here in the basement of a burned out house on Savannah Avenue Tuesday in East Cleveland, 4 days after she was first reported missing. Police say Pointer was kidnapped and tortured in an attempt to find out information about an unrelated murder in Cleveland last week. Police say eventually her attackers brought Pointer here and shot her. Today, East Cleveland police arrested a sixth person in this case, a 20-year-old woman charged with murder. Investigators still looking for one man believed connected to the case tonight. In all, they say they believe 8 people were in fact involved in this kidnapping, murder, and torture that happened with a deadly ending here on Tuesday. Right now, though, we're told one of those people, that 8th suspect, is still trying to be identified. Police only saying at this point she is a woman and that she is connected to this deadly case. Reporting live in East Cleveland, I'm News 5 investigator Scott Knoll.
Scott, you can hear the heartbreak and you can see the pain on people's faces. Thank you for that update.
All as they passed by the house where police say Alishah Pointer's body was found.
Them is reckless people, heartless people, and they don't need to be out here doing this to people like this.
It was at a vigil Friday night. Her family and twin sister spoke.
I'm so angry that this happened to an innocent person. And they just about to leave my best friend away from me. Baby girl, I love you. God be with you. God got you in his arms.
A devastating week for the family of Alishah Pointer, but with faith and hope, they know her spirit will be free.
Pain and suffering she endured, but she's free now. She's free.
And live forever. Lydia Spara.
The vacant property where Alishah lost her life was eventually demolished.
Meanwhile, the house where 22-year-old murder victim Alishah Pointer was found dead earlier this month is standing no more. It was demolished tonight in East Cleveland, with family and friends gathering to watch the abandoned house on Savannah Avenue being reduced to rubble. Earlier this month, Pointer was found there after being beaten and tortured. 6 arrests have been made in connection, but
in December 2022, Destiny Henderson and Nathaniel Polk Jr. pleaded guilty to charges of involuntary manslaughter, unlawful restraint, and conspiracy. Their plea agreements included provisions that they would cooperate with the prosecution and provide testimony against the remaining defendants. The other 4 defendants, Anthony Bryant, Brittany Smith, Hakimali Shomo, and Portria Williams, rejected plea offers. So their cases proceeded toward trial. In March 2023, a trial began for Anthony Bryant, Brittany Smith, and Hakimali Shomo. The prosecutors laid out their case, witnesses testified, and the families on both sides filled the courtroom. But then a mistrial was declared due to what defense attorneys called a procedural error. Defense attorneys argued that the presiding judge had engaged in communications with prosecutors that excluded defense counsel. The defense didn't just call it an error, but alleged that the judge deliberately caused the mistrial. They argued this constituted grounds for complete dismissal of charges, claiming double jeopardy protections should bar any retrial. A different judge reviewed arguments regarding potential dismissal, and ultimately determined the case would move forward. In October 2025, almost 4 years after the incident, Brittany Smith entered a guilty plea to charges related to Alishah's passing and conspiracy. Later that month, on October 31st, Anthony Bryant's case went before a jury. Unlike Brittany, Anthony rejected a plea deal. He contested the charges, but the jury returned guilty verdicts on multiple counts. On November 25, 2025, Hakim Ali Shomo was also convicted. Portria Williams, who owned the house used to keep Alishah overnight, also accepted a guilty plea agreement. On January 7, 2026, 3 defendants appeared in court for sentencing. Alishah Pointer, Alishah's twin sister, delivered a victim impact statement. Alishah's mother, Erica Pointer, and her older sister, Alishah Pointer, also addressed the court.
Liyahpointer. I wrote mine down because I get lost in the words sometimes. With all of this. Losing my twin sister is a loss that cannot be measured or repaired. From the moment we were born, we shared a bond deeper than any other relationship in my life. Tammy was not only my sister, she was my other half, my best friend, and the person who understood me without words. To lose her on our birthday just makes things worse. Every year is a recurring nightmare. Tammy was one of the kindest, most supportive people I have ever known. She was the sweetest soul, always putting others before herself. The smile she had, I know, made many people's day. My sisters and I can all agree that Tammy put us first most days before herself. She was a great listener and a steady shoulder to lean on to her family and the friends we shared together. Before this crime, my life was stable. I went to work without issue. I slept through the night. I trusted people. I felt safe in the world around me. Since this crime took place, all of that has changed. At the time of this crime, I was pregnant with my son. Tammy was overjoyed about becoming an aunt, and she was supported through my pregnancy. She checked on me constantly and shared my excitement. Knowing that my son and now my daughter will never truly know who she was deeply saddens me. When I look at my children, I see her. I also carry the painful knowledge that one day I will have to tell them who Tammy was and why she is gone, and I imagine how they will react. That future conversation weighs heavily on me. And since this crime, my emotional and psychological health has been severely affected. I have been diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety, and I experience depression that seems to sneak up on me without warning. I have nightmares with flashbacks and panic attacks. When I wake up from my sleep, I sometimes stop breathing, and I feel like I'm dying. And this seems to happen when I'm mostly alone. Sometimes I feel like I'm living Tammy's trauma. I never feel like I'm carrying my own. And when I'm out in public or at work, people know who I am and what happened, and that is scary. For me, I constantly have to bring my personal life into work, everywhere I go, really. There are times when I feel unsafe. I do not know who knows the people responsible for this crime, and that creates constant fear. Sometimes I feel like someone may be out to get me. Even at night, I have recurring dreams involving the defendants, Hakim, kidnapping me or trying to get Tammy away, visions of her last moments. And when I'm out in work or public, it's like these images intrude, making it real difficult for me to focus at work or anywhere. And Tammy's death has permanently altered my life. I grieve not only who she was, but the future she was denied and the life we were meant to continue together as twins. This loss has changed how I sleep, how I work, how I trust, and how I move through the world. Tammy's life had value. She was deeply loved, and her absence has caused lifelong pain for those of us left behind. While nothing can undo what has been done, accountability matters. and I ask the court to consider the death, permanence, and the ongoing impact of this loss when determining the sentence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very sorry for your loss. Thank you, Ms. Pointer.
After the family concluded their statements, the defendants had the option to speak. Hakeem Ali Shomo and Anthony Bryant chose not to address the court.
These monsters cannot be rehabilitated. They are incapable of feeling empathy and remorse, and I beg this court to not show them any mercy and hand down the strictest sentence possible.
Brittany Smith, however, decided to make a statement, entering the courtroom with a Bible.
It never had to go as far as it did, and for that I'm deeply sorry.
Shomo did not speak, nor did any of his family members. As for Bryant, who prosecutors say shot Pointer,
he was Alishah Pointer's chief executioner, Judge. He used both guns at that scene.
4 of Bryant's family members spoke, asking the judge for mercy.
And I'm asking you to please consider, as his lawyer said, his age at the time.
Judge Murphy ultimately sentenced Smith to life in prison with eligibility for parole after 41 years.
No single prison term for any of the offenses committed as part of any of the courses of conduct adequately reflects the seriousness of the offender's conduct.
Bryant and Shomo were sentenced to life in prison without parole on charges including murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy. Each time the judge issued her sentence, she reiterated the severity of their crimes.
Miss Pointer was kidnapped, tortured, taped. She had a gun placed down her throat, beaten, and then left after being shot in an abandoned house in East Cleveland. For those reasons, the court finds that consecutive sentences are appropriate.
Reporting in Cleveland, Nizina Busada, News 5.
The sentences were handed down. Hakeem Ali Shomo received life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus an additional 36 to 41 and a half years. Anthony Bryant got life in prison with no possibility of parole, plus an additional 17 to 22 and a half years to be served consecutively. Brittany Smith was sentenced to life in prison with parole eligibility after serving 41 to 45 years. On January 9, 2026, the remaining 3 defendants were in court for sentencing. Destiny Henderson's parents spoke briefly, with her mother offering a heartfelt apology to the Pointer family. The final sentences were delivered. Destiny Henderson received a total of 25 to 30 years in prison. Nathaniel Polk Jr. was sentenced to 23 to 28 years in prison. Portria Williams got life in prison with parole eligibility after serving 23 years. With those final sentences, the criminal proceedings concluded. All 6 defendants were held accountable and will serve substantial prison terms. The world keeps spinning and so does crime. Stay observant, listen to your instincts, and don't ignore the warning signs. I'll see you in the next case on Crime on Pulse. Thanks for watching.
What will you be trying to accomplish when you graduate? Getting a GED. I'm just kidding. Getting my diploma. Because I'm trying to go to college. So that I can major in business. So I can have my own daycare. You know, I love little kids. Everybody knows that. If anybody asks me, what do you want to do after high school? On my own daycare. Can you fix the camera, please? But everybody say you won't make it, but I'm gonna make it.